Hi everybody. I have got a small hardcover journal here today, and it is lacy and loaded with fabrics. Went a little crazy on the fabrics, I guess, but I just really wanted to do something a little bit different. So let's get the measuring out of the way. It is 3.5 by 6, and I just finished it, so it's still a little wet. And the spine is 1 1/4. This has got some real pretty lace and a little circle here that's kind of a goldy, platinumy, silvery color. I don't know how to quite describe it. A rose here with some lace, and then a vintage, I guess you would call that an advertisement. And I put some, so it would stand out a little bit more, I put some of this dark brown lace. And then I covered the entire book with lace. There's the back, and there's the side, and I'm going to open it up. See how it spreads apart when it opens up? Yumminess, I'm telling you. Over here, I've got one of those little patches that I like to make it with a safety pin, some seam binding, some lace, part of a embroidery fabric, and then more lace here. And on the inside, I put a booklet. Real vintage looking booklet. Boy, I tied that one, didn't I? Look at there. It's got a little pocket here. Lace pocket. And some coffee dyed papers. Over here, I thought that was real appropriate. Adding the story begins. All the pockets in this book are made out of these patches that I like to make. And they're fabric. Got a piece of paper here, and then a part of a doily here, and some lace. And I just stitched whatever happened. I wasn't trying to be conscious of what I was doing. I just wanted something different. So if I worried about one side, when I stitched the other, I wouldn't have done it. But I thought, nope, I'm going to do it. We're going to see what this looks like. So I just stitched it. That came through on the other side, and I think it just adds to it. I used a lot of doilies in this one. Look at that. The yumminess. Another vintage ad, a little place to date something, and this is seam binding here with a doily, half of a doily. Over here is part of a curtain and some sari silk. Another one of those circles, but I cut it in half, some fabric and a doily. Got some ephemera in this book. I put some paper over some of these dictionary pages just to give a little bit more journaling. All different kinds of papers in here. This is a little booklet that's been sewn onto the page. Journal behind that too. Some stitching. It's kind of a beigey, pinkish color. It's got a little sparkle to it. It's kind of pretty. Over here is one of those ruffles I like to make, and I used the gold on it. Here's another one of those fabric pockets. I did a little stitching behind it. And you know, if you're making stuff, you know, I usually do my stitching after I've gotten a few things down, like here, so I can stitch over it. And sometimes I'll just stitch on a page somewhere. Well, I decided I wanted to make this page a pocket. So I didn't let that stop me. You can still see it, but I just went ahead and added over it. So, you know, don't be afraid to cover up or partially cover up something that you've done. Here's the stitching from the other page from sewing that booklet in. There it goes. And I put some vintage business cards in here. You may need to go to the livery stable someday. So you know somebody there already. Some Hug and Snug seam binding here. And a little place to journal with another doily. Real pretty parasol and some of that curtain fabric. And over here is another one of those patch pockets. And it's got a half of a doily and some seam binding, and I put 3 tags in here. Some sari silk, and I thought this would make a cute little bookmark you know, if when you were journaling, so you could go right to your page if you wanted to use it. Over here, some stitching and some lace. And that's the back side of the stitching. Like I said, I just let it happen. I didn't say, oh no, I got to cover that up. Nope, I wanted to see what it looked like, and I like it. This is another part of a book page, and it's got a little booklet here to journal. And some ephemera. And this is more lace, and laces here. And I sewed down the side of the page a couple of times, and look what it did on the other side. Isn't it neat? I'm just liking this. It's just something different. And, you know, when you get comfortable in making something a certain way, you have to force yourself to do it, especially in a project that you're working on, because you know if you do it and you don't like it, you're going to have to do it over again. So, you know, but you might like it, so you have to try. And that's what I did with this book. I just tried something different. That's the end of the first signature. Nice piece of lace here and some stitching. Another part of that curtain. And I coffee dyed that curtain. Coffee dyed it really heavy. This is tracing paper. And you can write on it. And it's got a vintage lady. The image is very blurred. It's sharp in some edges, but blurred in other. I really heavily inked the ink pad because I did not want a perfect image in this book. I wanted something worn looking. And what I like about doing this is you can see it from the reverse side, so you can see it a lot clearer of you know, she's a lady smelling flowers than you can over here. But I love that. And listen, yumminess. Over here, some more lace and stitching. And of course, I did the crackling on the pages and inked all the edges. And they're different, you know, all different sizes and shapes of paper in this book. And here's another booklet that's been sewn in on this page. Some stitching running down here and some ephemera over here. Another place to put a date with seam binding and a doily. And stitching going down here. And I also let the fabric stick over the edge. I let some of the papers stick over the edge. Where is one? Like here. You see how that comes up over the edge? I know I did it in several other places. But I just, here's another one. See how that comes over the edge? I just wanted it all uneven and jagged, and I didn't want anything pristine, perfect. And some lace with some sewing here. See, this sticks out over the edge, and it's fine. It's fine. It just kind of adds, when you do this, it just adds a little bit more, I don't know, rustic feel, is that the word? Or old feel. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I like it. And some stitching over here. Part of that book page. Dictionary page, I should say. Stitching around there. This again hangs over. And some lace. See that top of that lace peeping out over there? Another one of those patch pockets. Some coffee dyed papers. The other side of that tracing paper bag with a vintage lady, and she's actually holding a palette with a paintbrush here. And over here, like I said, I inked it up really heavy. Give it that aged look. Little vintage card I make, and some fabrics up here, and a patch pocket. And I also did the pages uneven. Look how much shorter this page is than this page. And then with this, it sticks out even further. I like that. This is the last signature here. The seam binding in the doily. Piece of ephemera. I did a little stitching down the edge of that page and stitched all the way around it. And over here is another pocket with a card in it, and then a ruffle with the gold. There's that stitching from the other side. A little mini page here. And this sticks out down here. And see, I sewed around it, and look what it did to this page. Just kind of neato. And a doily here, and some stitching on fabric. More seam binding. And lace ruffle, I think that's coming from the other side. And a doily up there, and it is. Over here, a little place to journal if you wish. Some coffee dyed papers with some script stamped fabric. Over here is another little booklet sewn on. Let's see, that sticks up. Lace and more lace and a doily. And here I let the ruffle come out over the edge. So you see how even though these pages are the same, you see the edge it gives? It's nice. I'm loving this style. Up here some stitching with some muslin cloth and another larger patch pocket with a piece of paper behind it. Another tuck spot here. Look at the sewing from the other side. I just really like that. You don't know if you're going to like something unless you try it. So for you journal makers out there, be brave, give it a go. It's just paper. If you don't like it, you can do it again. But give yourself a little bit of time to think, do I like that? That's the sewing. I sewed around that patch. And that's what happened over there. Some stitching here. Some ephemera here. And some seam binding here with a doily. That's the stitching from the other side. And over here is another pocket with some lace and some fabrics. It matches the front pocket. And in here, I stuck some coffee dyed paper. You might want to write a letter. I like writing letters. Sometimes I even just write a letter to myself. Isn't that crazy? That way I can remember what I did that day or remember something special or just talk to myself. Feels good. Okie dokie. That's the back again. Told you I was crazy, didn't I? That's the spine. And that's the front cover. And I want to thank y'all so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate all your comments and your visits and you being here with me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.